Hi, everyone. Kim here. Sorry, I have been postponing doing this live stream like all day because I've been so busy. This month has been so crazy, and especially this week. I don't know if it's because of all the cosmic stuff going on, the eclipse, and on the first, with Mercury retrograde, you start to enter that little phase of like, you're entering into this phase. That's where we're at now. It's just a lot going on. So, welcome. My apologies. But I like to do these end of the month things. And it had been a while since I had really started regularly doing them. And this year I was like, no, I want to get back to doing them and catching up with all of you and seeing how you all are doing. So, anywho, I won't keep you all day, but this is my month in review, my monthly faves. What was going on with me in the month of March? What was going on with you in the month of March? What were you using? What were your special tools? What things that you enjoyed, the decks you enjoyed. That's what we're talking about today. So let's get to it. Welcome. Hello. I see that there were people in the chat. Hello, my friends. Jackie, Donna. Yes. So, depth year update. I have to first talk about that. So, you all know that I'm in a low buy year. Maybe you all don't know. Maybe you're new to my channel, but I am doing a no buy, low buy year, 2024. I did a no buy, kind of worked out to a low buy-ish year in 2020, where I abstained from purchasing decks. It was so I can deepen my connection with the decks that I already have and also save money, right? This is in my way. But yeah, I am doing that this year because I want to get to know some of the decks I have. And I don't need to constantly be purchasing decks. And last month, I was sharing with you all some decks I was considering backing on Kickstarter or pre-ordering. And guess what? I didn't do it. A couple of you all gave me some gentle, tough love. Like, you already have a deck in your collection that's kind of reminiscent of what you were eyeing. I was like, I love accountability. So I was like, okay, if it's meant for me to have those decks that I talked about and I liked, I put them on my wish list, they're there. I can come back to them. Perhaps I could buy them at the pre-order phase. If it's on Kickstarter, it goes into a pre-order phase and the creator has to, still sell off their first editions. That's always a nice sweet spot. Or I buy it secondhand, through one of the tarot marketplace Facebook groups. I could do that. Or I'm just not meant to have it at this point. What ended up happening in March was a friend, Queen Asset, had sent me a birthday gift, and I got it in March, and it was like 7 decks, 7 Oracle decks. And I'm going to show you all some in a moment. It's like my little deck haul, a mini deck haul, but it was so needed. My Oracle decks are so busted for love readings. Like, I've shown you all these before. Like, they're so busted. And I use them religiously, daily. So I was in the market to have to buy some new Oracle decks. She had gifted me this one. I use this one a lot too, the Situations Oracle. And lo and behold, I go down to the place to pick up my packages, and there's this box from her, and it's smelling good because when she sends boxes, gifts, she has incense, and it just smells so good, and it's all hefty, and it was so sweet to unbox that, and just be in deep gratitude. It was like, I have a need for new decks, but the decks that I use are pretty expensive. Um, and it's like, oh, I need to replace like 2 or 3 of those Oracle decks. And I don't really want, it's not really in the budget, right? But I got to, because I use them daily. And then like that, a beautiful gift came from a beautiful friend. And I'm so grateful. one of the decks we used together in our last live stream, and that was the spiritual one, which I'm like, is this it? Where is it? Where is it? Is this one it? Yes, we used it. I did some readings for you all. I plan on doing that again if you all are interested, or some other form of readings, but we used that one. So it's by Maruka X. She sent me several Maruka X decks, which if you are on Etsy, you know those are quite pricey. I have a Maruka X career and money oracle that I spent, I want to say, $70, $80. I don't know. It was pricey, but I use it for professional readings. This is Archetypes and Traits of Love. So there is this one. The Good on Paper. Let me show you. And it's like glossy, but it's good cardstock. It, like my career and money oracle, I mentioned this last time, it's held up well. And I've owned this deck since 2021, I believe. And we're 2024. The Sex Sorcerer. Yeah, I love the Ice Queen. The Rebound. So these are love's like geared archetypal cards. Look at the Free Spirited. I'm going to show you all something. The Husband. A married man has the qualities of a good husband, a man that every woman wants to marry. Oh, I guess, or every man too. I mean, I don't know. Look at that. The Sex Worker ignores their values for approval, always expects something in return in transactional relationships. That's quite the archetype. Whoa. Yeah. The Secret Keeper. So anywho, that one was fun. This is a fun deck. And I think many of Maruka X's decks are like at least like 110 cards. Like it's chunky monkeys going on. And that's why I love that in Oracle decks. Like the spiritual one we were using, and we were like, okay, how's this one gonna work? And it worked. We managed to do about 4 or 5 readings in that video, that last live. And I was like, okay. So she sent me, let me show you the ones though. I won't go through all of the ones she showed. I might just do a standalone video going through all the decks. But the one that I immediately just started using right off the bat was this one. And we laugh so much because she and I will buy these decks like from Etsy or wherever, make playing cards, and they don't often have title cards. They don't come in boxes. There's no guidebooks. So I'm like, because I asked her, I said, well, how can I get the name of it in case I need to get a backup copy? And she was like, I don't know the name. I don't remember. And we laughed because I've done that. I bought decks that don't have the identifying things. And I'm like, well, maybe I'll do a Google reverse search. But I instantly start using this one right away. And I like the key phrases. Seeing through, so getting clarity, seeing through lies, being real with yourself, accepting the truth. And for signs, let's see. Forbidden, clandestine affair, family disapproves, secret pleasures, triggered, dreams come true, getting the love you want, fulfilling relationship, having fun together, opposites attract, struggling with differences, passing passion, can't stay away from them, yearning, Working on the relationship, office romance, or being a workaholic. And how can that play out in a relationship reading? Well, you could just imagine the impact of being a workaholic can have on a new relationship or a seasoned relationship, right? You could imagine, what does it do to the other partner? What does it do to the connection? Roller coaster, many ups and downs, erratic behavior, extreme moods. So I really just dived in the same day we got it. I started shuffling it, like throwing some practice little cards down, see how they were playing with my tarot decks. And this just was like, just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So I have been, here's jealousy. I've been using this one. What else? Let me show you the other one. There's a couple more. And then I'll get to oh, I haven't used this one yet. This one I need to use. The Secrets of a Lover's Journey Oracle. I'm just going to show, let's look at them together. I forgot about this one. This is Aqua Moonlight. Yes. This one at least has a title card or the name of the title of the deck on it. Sinner, falling victim to temptation, mistakes and lessons. Okay, let's see. Catch me, games of the heart, push and pull, runner and chaser. Is this just a fantasy? Questioning it all, attaching to the ego. Let's see. Let's see what else. Enemy in disguise, revenge tactics and anger. Everything isn't as it appears. Ooh. That must suck to date someone and you feel like you're sleeping with the enemy. Or you're trying to, it's those kind of dynamics are like rough. Dreams coming true, manifestation and vibrations, living blissfully. Struggling alone, dark night of the soul, suffering and scarcity. Okay, so that one, I'm going to sit with it. I need to go through these ones, but let me show you the ones that I was like, oh, yes. Immediate connection. Another Maruka X. This one I really appreciate because sometimes I like to give the querent like homework, or not homework, but I like to give the querent like something to chew on. It may not be specific to their love question, but it just could be something that they need to know or hear. And so this deck has done that. Let's see. So we have, and this one, I can't remember the name of it. My apologies. What I will do, if you watch this replay or watch this video and you have a question, timestamp it with the deck, and then I will do my best to respond to your comment, and I will send a link or something like that, or let you know where you can purchase it and what the title is. Right now, for time's sake, we're just going to go through it. But we have here travel, be ready for new experiences or possibly an opportunity to travel. Whatever this new adventure is, you can count on making progress. Okay. Stuck in limbo. You're stuck in limbo, filled with doubt or confusion regarding your relationship with someone you believe is a twin flame. Break this cycle. And we have cards like Awakening, Perfectly Imperfect. And I'm a fan of oracle decks that are tarot size. I'm a sucker for them. Awakened fears. Your worst fears are being awakened, such as rejection, abandonment, loss, or commitment issues, and bringing out all the skeletons hiding in your closet. You see that? Resolution, cycles. So I really like this one. I'll pull like 1 to 2 cards towards the end of the reading, and it just usually sums up everything perfectly or gives them. I mean, the awakened fears can sound like, for example, that card could sound like, oh God. But really, there's some beautiful insight into that. Like, you're constantly in a cycle of, going after emotionally unavailable people. And really deep down inside, it could be a fear of actually connecting with someone that wouldn't make you chase them. Like you fear the unknown. What is the unknown? Like you fear rejection. Well, you constantly are placing yourself in a place, in a space of being rejected. What is that about? That's another query we could ask about the cards. What is that about? Running and chasing and intensity. So yeah, so that one I really, 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 really like. And then the last one that I want to share from my seven decks she sent me. Oh my God. Is Twin Flame Messages by Mystic Moon. And she told me that she got all of them through Etsy. So I do know I could probably also do like a little search. The one that doesn't have the name though, I'm gonna have a time trying to find, but I'm gonna find it because in case I need a backup in the future. But this one is cool because sometimes what I'll do is I will shuffle the cards, right? And I may or may not reveal what it's saying, like what it is that I get to the querent, because it may just be for my eyes only. And there are times when I'll share it with the querent. And I love how they shuffle. So let me share some of the messages. This would be, well, let me just show you. It says, is it possible to forgive and forget? And it's got a rose. Nothing, fancy. It's the sentence, the message. Let me show you ones that are my favorite. I just have to do something else right now. Please try to understand. So, for example, I had a client who, is having a difficult time letting go and moving on from a breakup, and really just trying to understand why the person that they're interested in just ended things. And the cards that came up was like 10 of Wands and money and some others card, but it was like they have a lot going on in their life right now, a lot of burdens. And um if this card came up, this could be a message I would share with the querent and say, well, if they could put it into words to share this with you, they would say, I just have to do something else right now. Please try and understand. Yeah. I'm more affected than you know. Oh, I feel like home. You feel like home to me. I feel badly for the way that I treated you. You didn't deserve that. I still love you. I need more time to figure things out. I'm finally feeling the consequences of my actions. So yeah. So yeah, I like those. Immediately started working with them. I was like, yes, this is perfect. I do a lot of love readings. I'd say 80% of the time. 80%. Hi, I am live. I'm here. I'm here barely, barely. So out here in the Dominican Republic, it is Semana Santa. It is Holy Week. And it is interesting. We laugh because it doesn't seem quite holy. It feels very spring breakish. In the town that we live in is where many of the Dominicans converge from all around, from the whole island. And so it's just like, I don't know, it's just mayhem. Everything closes down except for maybe a couple of stores. And I always feel out of sorts a bit when this week comes. There's a lot of scantily clad women walking around. There's loud, ATV kind of vehicles going around. They're doing wheelies. There's traffic all around the beach. It's just a lot going on. So I had that to contend with too. We had to go and try to find some groceries yesterday. It's just a lot. It's a lot. And I realized I'm more older than I thought. Okay. Like when I was young, spring break kind of vibes would be like right where I want to be at, But now I'm going in the opposite direction of all that. It's a lot of chaos, and then there's the crimes of opportunity stuff that be going on. So I'm just gonna hunker down in here. But I'm here. I'm live. What decks have you all been getting into? I'm going to get ready to show you all the decks that stood out to me in the month of March. That was my haul of decks that my dear friend sent me. Now I'm going to show you all the decks that I like, and I'll explain why. Yeah. Oh, I know, right? Oh, Kim, I didn't get any decks so that I could deepen my connection with 3 meals a day, right? That's the other thing. Let's just keep it real. Inflation is real. Things are going on where we really probably want to watch our coins. We want to, tighten the purse strings. And it's not even we want to, we need to. And I relate to that. We all got to eat. And as much as I love collecting decks and new ones at that, is that really important at the grand scheme of things? If people can do it and they got it like that, wonderful. But if not, enjoy the decks that you got. That is one of the things that I always harp on and always want us to celebrate. It's the decks that we have. And sometimes during my depth year in 2020, some of my most treasured decks came in as gifts from people who knew I was trying to abstain for a year, and they end up sending me decks. They like a beautiful soul. I'm not going to name her. I don't think she wants her name all over the place, but she sent me Dust to Onyx. She sent me the Victorian Romantic Tarot. She sent me some incredible decks that are near and dear in my collection. So, sometimes you might just align and somebody sends you a deck and gives you a deck. One of my dear members, Artists and Oracles, Anna, she sent me a wonderful keyword tarot deck last month. And I love it. I guess I haven't felt the need to really go out and buy them. Are there gorgeous decks out there? Absolutely. But I have a good number of decks that I could spend some time getting to know. It's one of the reasons why I started doing the tarot study. I haven't did it all of pretty much last year. I think we did maybe one last year, maybe. I haven't had any plans yet to do one this year, but maybe that could change. But I want us to get excited about what we already got, because what we already got is magical, because we're magical. And that was why I created the Choosing Your Next Deck Curating Your Collection course. The content is all on YouTube, but I wanted us to celebrate our collection and not feel guilty about it, but also feel satisfied with what we've created in our collections, right? Sometimes we, feel bad about overindulging and spending and sometimes we feel jealous. But when you can turn back and look at your collection and see what you got and see what you've already have on your shelves, you realize you have a lot, and you probably even have some you could pass on and gift someone a deck. Wouldn't that be lovely? Like a deck you're not using and you know you're not going to use anymore, and you send it to somebody. It feels so good to give, and that's what it's about. So yeah, we got to eat, and I know that. Like for me, my focus is I want to save money, and it's just always a good idea to save. Also, I do want to pay my bills, and I want to travel. I want to be able to go back to the States and spend some time there, not just go back and come back here quick. I want to go there and linger. Well, that's going to cost some money. It's going to cost quite a bit. So I have to fall in love with my collection again. Hi, all for amusement. Thank you for joining. Hi, Luna. Thank you for being here. I'm happy you're here. I'm happy you all are here. Yes, Queen. She's amazing. She's amazing. And she has quite the collection. Oh, yes. Let's see. I used to have Hidden Money Blocks deck from Maruka. I can't spell. I know. Every time I spell the name, I'm like, did I spell that right? It was so good. Yes. Maruka X is really, I feel, tapped in. And every time I use this one, this is the career money one, it gives me exactly what I need in a reading, whether I'm doing readings for myself or readings for others. So to have 1, 2, 3, 4, is there another one? 5 Maruka X decks in my collection. I am over the moon thrilled. Over the moon. The tower again. Hello, everyone. Your name makes me smile. We're in the tower period right now, right? When I think about that bridge in Baltimore, I think, wow, lots going on. Hello, Crunch. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I know I'm not, I know I'm not this, I know I'm not old, but I'm an old soul. How about that? And to that end, I gifted some decks to a friend out here where I live. And I gifted her a new-ish deck. And then I gifted her a really banged up one. It was this copy or another copy, same deck, but way banged up. But I wanted her to practice with learning the key words and such. And, I wanted to help her with that. And I wasn't expecting her to use it because it was so worn. And I expect her to use the newer deck I gave her as well. And I saw her last week at the school. Our kids go to the same school, and she said that she's been using the well-worn one. Like I almost felt guilty giving it to her because it was so warm, but she wanted it. And I was like, okay, it's warm, but I wanted her to learn the key meanings and stuff. And she says that's the one that she's been using because she feels the juju in it, the magic stuff in it. So I was like, okay, I'll probably be giving her some more decks because she's here and all. Yes, I've deepened my connection with the decks I currently have. It's a good refresher. Yes. Yeah, it is. And when you turn, and that's why I can't wait to share with you all in a moment the decks that I've been working with, because many of them have been in my collection a good while. And you forget what's in your collection. If you have more than probably a handful, you're going to probably forget. This is why I have my spreadsheets. This is why I try to track the decks that I work with each month. I have a spreadsheet even for that. Like I've just added and I make a little note on a spreadsheet of why, what I did with it or something like that. And I usually am working with about 25 or so decks each month on average. Obviously, they're going to be mostly my working decks that I use with client readings or in client readings, but There's those decks that I just do readings for myself or readings for a friend, or I just want to look at the artwork or journal, do like a prompt, if you will, and what card comes up and do a prompt. So about 20 to 25 decks or so each month. And then at the end of the year, what I do is I see the averages of like which ones did I consistently grab and touch and which ones didn't I, and just kind of making note and paying attention to it. I'm, I guess, an analyst at heart. So I like stuff like that. I'm a nerd like that. I like tracking stuff and then like analyzing the data later. Like I'm just a nerd like that. But it's an interesting exercise because I start to see like, oh, these are decks I absolutely cannot live without. And these are decks I appreciate the art. And these are decks that are like my soul searching and soul scratching decks. And then what I start to notice as well is the decks that are never on the list. That's information too. My decks are put away in boxes, so I'm really craving and wanting to buy decks to compensate. Yes, real talk. I understand that, and I know what you mean. And I have friends who had to move. Maybe their decks are in storage, right? They're packed, they're carefully packed up, but they're in storage at a storage facility, or they're at a relative's house and they can't get to them. So then, of course, you're going to be like, I'm itching to have some decks, or I'm itching for a deck, a new deck. So that makes sense. When I moved from California to here, a lot of my decks I still had to leave at my parents' house. And then I shipped a good vast majority of my decks. I was able to pack, I don't know, 40, 50 in my luggage. And then I tried to ship a good chunk of them, and they got stuck in customs for months. And I was like, oh, I want my decks. And so I ended up probably buying. That's when I bought this one, but this one was ended up being a solid purchase. I bought this deck in the interim of waiting. I know for sure there's probably been others I bought, but this was one of them. This actually was a great purchase. This worked out. But I had a need for a nice, good, solid, all-rounder career and money oracle. But woo! And then I went back to the US and got the rest of the decks in my parents' house and traveled back with them that way. But being kind of in limbo with your collection, that definitely can kick up something for sure. Like you want to buy some decks because you got that itch that want to be scratched. Yeah, that's a real feeling. I want to just break everything out and look through them. Isn't that so much fun? Just sitting there and going through them. You may not do a reading. You just want to go through the cards and look at the images, feel them in your hand, shuffle them, hearing them shuffle and all that. Just I love smelling my decks too. Now, not all of them. Some of them come with some kind of toxic kind of smell when they're right off the presses, just made, but many of them just come with this smell. I was the same way with books. Maybe not the old musty books, but just I love the smell of books and decks. Hmm. Hey, Karen. I'm looking at you all having conversations. Oh, Luna, I'm so yes, we're using our decks, ain't we? How are you doing, Karen? Thank you for joining on this Friday. I don't know, it might be afternoon for y'all, morning, maybe night. During the holiday season, I gift wrapped decks I was ready to pass on and gave to local metaphysical shop for anyone who wants to learn or date a new deck. It felt good changing up the energy. I absolutely love that you did that. How beautiful. Oh my God, how beautiful. And to date a new deck, yes. We we're dating the decks, right? I call it vet the decks when you're courting a deck and you're thinking about buying one. Like a dear subscriber was asking me the other day about Tarot Oneness and asking me how am I getting along with it after owning it for a year. And I commended that subscriber for vetting the deck, reaching out, asking those who do these videos that do unboxings and do deck flip throughs. A year later, how are you getting along with the deck? That's why I like to do what's called deck and focus videos, where I circle back, or where is the deck now videos, because I like to let you all know I'm due for another one of those. And I like to surprise you all on whether or not I still have the deck or not, because I keep track of those too. I keep track of the decks I have. I keep track of the decks I don't have anymore and where they went off to. Nutty that way. But I love like doing where is the deck now. I think I'm due for one. And but I like to be real with it. Like, do I still own it? Why or why not? What made me keep it? What do I use it for now? What was my intention when I first got that deck? How was I planning to use it? Did I have an intention at all? And then how am I getting along with it 2, 3, 5 years later, let's just say. And so it's just interesting. And I love that people were vetting their decks. So once you vet the deck, y'all courting, you get through the initial new phase, you're dating them. And in California, I had a metaphysical, or it was a bookstore that had a nice, good selection of metaphysical, but it was like a mom and pop bookstore. It's called Beers Books in Sacramento. I love that. Love that bookstore. And they love my decks and my metaphysical books. They would never turn them down. Every time I bring a box of them, I would give them to the bookstore, and they would sell secondhand and new stuff there. So yeah, pass it on. It feels good. It feels good. And I love gifting them, or donating decks or giving decks, because that feels good. It's what feels good. Let's see. Do you use your own decks you made? Absolutely. All for amusement. I do. The reason I make my decks is because there was something I couldn't find in other decks. So I make my Oracle decks. I haven't made a Tarot deck yet. I do plan on making one, but I really want to figure out the art on that. But yeah, I do. I use my own decks all the time. This one, look at this. This is my third copy of I call it my very own Love Oracle, Mavolo. That's what I call it for short. This is like the third copy of it. And it's so bent, but I love it. I know, because I came up with the keywords. I found the artwork and connected with it. And not artwork, but the images, the stock photos. And I work with it. I know it. Let's see what else. I made my own decks through what's called Make Playing Cards. And it's a fun process. One of these, I do have videos that I could, if anybody's interested, I have recorded videos. They're not published to the channel, but if y'all are interested, I did make some videos on it where I go through my process of how I make my decks. It's not super complicated, but I track, or I make a list of keywords, put them in alphabetical order. I look at the keywords again. I'm like, do they work? Do they not? And then I go searching for images. You got to make sure you have the specs correctly for Make Playing Cards, the website or the company that makes the decks, and then they do print on demand. And so straightforward, pretty much. I mean, there's some things that you need to know, but yeah, if you're interested, let me know. I didn't publish those videos to the channel because I didn't think many people would be interested. I published it to my membership, my Poised Elite membership, which, by the way, shameless plug, I hope you all consider joining. I have economical tiers that you can join in. We get together a few times a month, either one-on-one with me or in a group setting. Tomorrow we're having reading lab, and it's on Learn the Cups. We're going to be deep diving into the Suit of Cups, the water element. And I got some fun things for us to do with that. So we do reading labs once a month, the last Saturday of the month. And then there's 2 other times we get together as a group. And then the higher tiers, those are my one-on-one folk. We get together, we meet up one-on-one, and all of this is via Zoom. So it's through Ko-fi. If you have any questions about it, let me know. But yeah, tomorrow is Reading Lab, Learn the Cups workshop, starting at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I hope to see you all sign up. And you can watch the replays. I've got about 250 videos there. As y'all can see, I like recording videos. I'm kind of like, just as I'm nerdy about Excel and spreadsheets, I'm nerdy about recording videos. Okay. Kim, you're so organized. I need to contact you to find out the best method to get organized. Absolutely. People have done that too. They reach out to me, they send me an email or whatever. They're like, I need some help. And we meet you. I'll meet you where you're at. Like, not everybody's going to want to be anal like I am with tracking everything. But, there's something that you can do to get organized. It's so satisfying to organize all your decks and to have, to know how many is in your collection. And if you end up, whether you purchase mass market or independently produced decks, it doesn't matter, because sometimes what happens with mass market decks, and y'all, some of you know what I'm talking about, they will go out of print and all of a sudden they're highly sought after, high value decks that you paid $20 for way back when, and you didn't think anything of it then. And now that deck is worth a lot of money. So it's just good to track. And if you are in the US and you have certain, like a homeowners or renters policy, you can get a personal PAF policy that can insure your decks. So if something happens to them, God forbid, you have a little list of tracking them and whatnot. You could just and just for good measure, scan your shelves. You don't have to, take pictures of every single one. You could just scan it. I used to be a claims adjuster, so this is why I know this stuff. And you keep that saved somewhere, in your Gmail account or wherever you save your stuff. And if ever, God forbid, something happened, you could file a claim and you can get compensated for it. Now, of course, if it's a rare deck, but at least you get compensated for it. There's a method to my madness too. I think I just like tracking stuff. And I also felt the need to track so I could be able to convey information to you all. But it's the insurance person in me, I think. Yes. Okay. So it's almost 5 p.m. Okay. So you and I must be on the same time zone, because it is 5:01 p.m. here. And we are in the Atlantic time zone, which is the same time zone as Eastern. When Eastern time zone has daylight savings time, then we're at the same time zone. When you all fall back in the autumn, then we're 1 hour ahead of Eastern. And then I'm 4 hours ahead of my home state of California. So I love daylight savings time because it's only 3 hours ahead of California. Indeedy. Hey, friend, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. Now, you talk about someone who's made beautiful day. Kristen Louise, who has a channel. Actually, Care Bear, Bard of Cards has a channel. I like to acknowledge the fellow content creators. Let's do that. The Tower again. I swear I love your name. I don't, like, some people are like, oh, the Tower. There were times, yes, when the Tower card came up, I'm like, oh, Lord. But there are oftentimes it would come up when I'm moving, like I've moved house or I'm about to move jobs. And the way I'm so like, I love structure and I love like routine, and I'm comfortable. When I'm comfortable, I'm happy. And so moving, like even like transferring to another unit when I was employed, like with the boss and everything, that would feel like a Tower moment to me. I'm like, I got to get to know these fellow employees and like this new work, process. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. So that could feel like the tower to me. But sometimes tower could represent some like divorce or, bankruptcy or dropping out of school. Or it could be like me, where it's representing, oh, I'm moving to a new boss. Like, and this boss has a bad reputation. I'm like, oh no. How did you get into tarot? Did someone introduce you to it? Thank you, Crunch. Um, I get asked this a lot. And I would say I got serious about it in January of 2016, and it was kind of on a fluke. But I've always known about tarot. When I was 16, I had a reading done on me. Like, I went to a little shop in Oakland, California, with a little neon sign, and I walked in with my girlfriends, and I got a reading. She did both a tarot reading and she read my palm because I was really wanting my palm read. And it was like, okay, that was cool. She was accurate on the tarot part. She was, I can't remember all the stuff that came up about the palm, but she was accurate. She was accurate. And then I've always had like a love of like divinatory stuff and cards, like oracle, but like using postcards. I used to collect a lot of postcards back in the day when I was little, and then I would study the images. So I always loved cards and playing cards. And it wasn't until 2016 that I got serious about it, because I don't want to bore you all with the story, but it's just basically that one of my children was in intensive care unit, ICU, in the hospital for a month. And I was in my cell phone on Amazon, and they were like, we think you'd be interested in this. And I had oracle decks. I think because I was Christian, my mind could accept buying oracle decks. That's why I always seem to have a lot more oracle decks than I do tarot. And so I gave myself permission to use those. But then Amazon recommended a tarot deck, and it was the Gilded Tarot. And I got that one. I got the Morgan Greer, and I think I got the Centennial edition of the Smith-Waite Centennial edition, which I still have to this day. I don't have the Morgan Greer anymore. I just didn't, I like the look of it, but I didn't really resonate with it. I don't have the Gilded Tarot. I gave that one to a teenager. And I just needed to occupy my time. And I just wanted the tarot to help me answer questions about things that I was going through, fears I was like navigating with my son being in the hospital and all that uncertainty. And so, yeah, I got that deck, and then I fell in love, like full throttle, like every day studying tarot. Like as soon as I got off work, as soon as I was done with my chores, it's me and the cards and me every single day. I took so many pictures, and I had so many journals when I was learning the cards. I still have them today. I even brought some of them with me here to the DR. And I have so many pictures that, how when you on Amazon or Google, I'm trying to think, OneDrive, I think it's OneDrive. All those ones that'll send you like this day 3 years from now, this day 5 years from now, and then they show you the picture you took. I have so many pictures of spreads I was doing back when I was like really, really thirsting to learn. It's so funny. And I smile to myself. So I fell hard, and I'm still very much in love with cartomancy. So in love with it. It fills me up. Yes. Do you plan on doing a signature deck in the future? That's all about you. Like, when you say all about me, what do you mean? Like, I do plan on doing a deck, but I'd like to use my own either photography or commission an artist. And I know with AI, you could quit, you can make a deck. And I've seen people do that. And I think that's swell. I know, yeah. But I've always wanted to do like my own. I wanted to do a deck that was featuring my times in California and just snapping photos and incorporating it in a tarot and oracle deck. And then also like a Caribbean inspired deck. Like I love spaces and places. And I wanted to do original photography or commission my, let's say, for example, my sister-in-law, who's a wonderful artist, you know. Yes, thank you. I want the satisfaction of organizing. That's my birthday gift to myself this year. Heck yeah. It feels so good to have things organized. And then it frees up space in the brain, I feel like. It just frees up space, and that feels good to me. Some people are like, you track everything? I track everything, but it feels good. Hey, Krista, how are you doing? Thank you for joining. I'm happy you're here. I'm happy you are here. Oh, another great content creator. Check her out. Deck creator. Check her out. Land back Tarot. Have you all heard of that? That's Krista. That's Auntie K. Tell us about your journey becoming an analyst and how you used it in your craft. Oh, you funny. Well, I was a reluctant analyst. I did not want to be an analyst, but my job, I had reached a point in my salary, in my former work life, career life, where they were like, either you to have this kind of salary you're earning, you need to either have some people reporting to you or you need to go the analyst route. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I was like, okay, I mean, I thought I wanted to manage people until they gave me like a little test, and then like not a test, but I like have a couple of people kind of like reporting to me, and I was like, this don't feel right. I don't like it. And then I applied for a supervisor position because I thought that was what I was supposed to do. I didn't get it. And it ended up being a blessing in disguise because my bosses were like, no, we think that you should consider being an analyst. We just see something in you, and maybe not being a manager or being a supervisor. That's not, and it worked out. But I did not want to be an analyst. I didn't know much about Excel when I became an analyst. I thought it was a joke that they wanted me to be an analyst or what have you. And so I got that job, and I ended up falling in love with analytical work. And then what I did was I took those skills and brought it over to my work, like of organizing my decks and tracking my decks. When I started my tarot reading business, I took those skills from Excel and brought it forth over to, the business. And it's been invaluable to me. And I thank my direct reporting supervisor from time to time. Even I need to send her a message now, thanking her for seeing something in me that I didn't want to see. I was not happy at first when they suggested. I came home and I was like, this is some BS. I don't want to do this. I just want to be an arbitration specialist, which is like basically we go to court arbitration for, amongst insurance companies. So your insurance company, if you're insured with like Geico or State Farm or whatever, and you get into an accident, what could end up happening is that there could be a dispute between the insurance companies on who is at fault. And so the job that I did before I became an analyst was I went to bat, or I would fight for my insurance company that I was working for in arbitration. I was a specialist in that. And I thought I was good. I loved it. But yeah, I was starting to get bored. That's the truth of the matter. And apparently I was making too much. So they were like, you need to either be an analyst or a boss. So that was, yeah. Yeah. So I just take those analytical skills and bring it over here. Also, my background, when I do Mystery Mystic Monday type readings, you will hear me speak about my investigation skills that I have from my career and also my analytical mind. Like, well, what makes the most sense? What is the most logical? Statistically, what is likely that this could be? Yes, we're talking about intuition. Yes, we're following up on hunches, but also we have the gift of, you know, statistics. We have the gift of, you know, what could logically happen as well. So you'll hear me say, refer to my past life often. So, yeah. And how do I feel about religion? I'm a spiritual person. I am not no longer a part of organized religion. That ship has sailed many a moon ago. Gone. No longer a self-claimed, what do they call it? Self-proclaimed Christian, but I am spiritual. I do believe in a higher power. I do believe that we're all divinely and universally connected. And yeah, and I do pray and when I meditate, I'm praying. And so you can, there's certain aspects of Christianity that are still a part of me. And yeah. The tower popped up almost every week during my first year exploring tarot. I feel like the handle celebrates my transition. Yes, your handle celebrates your transition in life, being led by my guides and their lack of subtlety. Right? That's what I'm talking about. It's like I'm about to give you a message that you cannot ignore, that you can, paint away and make it like fluffy and pretty, like with the lovers. No, the tower, there's no subtlety there. And I love that. Yes, photography would be lovely, just snapshots. Even here, people would, I don't want to impose, but I think just having like my Caribbean oracle deck, but with photography of pictures I take here and using the art to inspire the keywords. So yeah, yeah. You know. You finished your taxes. Congratulations. In the States, I think April 15th is the due date. And I've been talking to a few folks, and they have been like, I am in the throes of dealing with my taxes. And I'm like, may the force be with you. Congratulations on getting your taxes done. Knowledge is knowledge. That's right. That's right. You should tell the story about how you came up with the idea of, Mystery Mystic Monday. And then as I show you all some of my decks. Those who've watched my channel know that I came into Mystery Mystic Monday because I had a bout with COVID. And it made me feverish. And before that time, I would never have thought I would be wanting to do mysterious circumstances readings. I was like, no, that's dark. I don't want to do that. I'm not necessarily wanting to do love and light. I would do shadow type readings for sure for clients, but no. And I was feverish for about a week. I was sick in 2021. And I kept getting these visions and hearing things and saying, you need to do a reading on this one particular case. And I was like, I don't want to. They're like, no, do the reading. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I did it. And I end up enjoying doing those type of readings. And every now and then people will reach out to me privately, not put it on the channel or anything, but to do those types of readings. And it was so interesting. I would never have thought I would be interested in doing them until that happened. I was so feverish and so disoriented. I don't know, probably needing to go to the hospital. Who knows? Question. Do you guys like mini decks? And I'm assuming you're asking the chat as well. I love mini decks. My preference is like this poker size. That's my preference because it shuffles pretty good, like so, right? But I think my first mini deck was the Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle. This is mini. And I ended up collecting, like for this deck, I collected all the little sub, like they have different editions, not editions, additions. And so I etched it in black. If you watch my Mystery Mystic Monday readings, I always like to do an opening oracle reading, and I typically use this one. And then I have a bigger one that's poker size, the Bloody Hell edition, I think is what it's called. It's this one. So I love mini decks. I have more, plenty more. They're not always like, this is kind of challenging at times to shuffle because they're so little, but I make it work. It's kind of like, so it can be a little challenging. I suppose you could swish them around on the table and pick cards. So that's my feel on those. If I ever show life in the DR, I would want to do it respectfully to the people who live here. I know travel vloggers, they do an excellent job of showing people. So I almost feel like there's plenty of videos that could show people where I live. I just have to think about it. I have to be thoughtful because I'm living here and I don't want to be known as the person. I knew a lady who is a vlogger, and she would show this area, and she did a great job, but she's also very gutsy. She had no qualms about busting the camera out in front of expatriates or in front of locals and folks who are native to here. I just don't have that level of comfortability with it, and I don't know if I ever will. But I do want to consider having either a segment or a channel just devoted to helping people to think outside the box. Maybe they don't want to move here exactly, but they want to live abroad, and how can they overcome certain challenges? That I would love to do. That's more in the vein of what I would be comfortable in. And maybe we do that from a restaurant, and maybe the waiters would be willing to chime in or something because they're not camera shy. But it's just kind of weird. Like when I would be out with her, she would have the camera and some people would kind of shrink away. And I'm like, I'm just getting to know this spot. I lived in California 40 years and I've only lived here a couple of years, few years. I'm still getting to know it, and I don't want to be off-putting. And it's kind of a small town compared to where I came from. It's a small town. So, I don't know. The verdict's still out. Yeah, I never thought I watched something like MMM, but I'm so glad I tried them out. The way you conduct them, inviting us as witnesses, is just what's needed. Yes, thank you. Right? I didn't even know that there was this whole sector of folks who do these type of readings. Color like slap me silly when I realized, oh, there's tons of psychics and readers who do it. But my approach is I want us to do it together because we are all intuitive beings, is my belief. We all bring something to the reading experience. And you may see something I don't see or I can't glaringly see. And it also is an opportunity for me to teach or to mentor others who are who are curious about card reading, or they're curious about my style of reading. And so it's an opportunity to educate. So it's a little different because some people be like, oh, you're just doing it for entertainment purposes. No, first and foremost, I'm doing it to raise awareness about things that are going on. It's not a popular thing like to talk about. It's not I mean, and because some cases can be sensational, but nobody necessarily wants to talk about that. But it just oftentimes I'll have people who are close to a missing person, for example, and they'll email me and thank me, especially on a cold case where nobody's talking about their loved one anymore. And then I'm doing a reading for it. And that's why I have to be really respectful, because oftentimes people who are close to these folks who are missing or something very tragic happened to them, they will be searching and my video comes up or a video, and then you've got some people, who may not be as careful to other readers or whatever. And, I just see themselves, I could see sticky situations coming about with that. So I really try to be respectful. I never thought I was going to be into watching them either. I did not think at all like about, oh, there's this whole sector. Let's see. If you were a car, what car would you be? I'd be the star. Not like celebrity star, but my sun sign is Aquarius. And so the star totally resonates with me in that way. I've always I feel like the star, some people be like, oh, I could see you being the Queen of Cups. I could see that, but I love the star. And I love the badassness of the Queen of Swords. If I had to pick one card, it'd be the star. I love that Mildred Payne Pocket Oracle. She's my main clarifying deck. She's such a good clarifier, ain't she? She's so good. And I like her for a number of reasons. She's great for clarifying. You actually, what folks don't really realize is I use this deck not always just for mystery type readings, but for somebody making a life transition. This deck is really great. It kind of reminds me, because you can use spreads with it. It kind of reminds me of how you would use Lenormand. So I like that about this deck. It just, look at this little deck here. Look at, some people are like, this is not my jam. But the moment I saw it, the moment I had to have it, I was like, so when it first came out years ago, I was like, oh yeah. Sometimes I wish I got but I didn't wait. I got this one. This was the first edition or whatever. But sometimes I wish I had this coloring, but in the poker sized edition. But I'm not going to go and buy another deck. Some people would do that. They would probably just go ahead and get it. I end up just getting this size. Oh, sorry. And the Mildred Payne. So yeah. Let's see. I am married. I am married to a man that I knew since 1992 when I was 12. And we went to junior high together and then high school until I moved away. And we were friends and everything. And then we reconnected back in 2006. And we were just inseparable after that and got married in 2012. Yes. So we've been together. Sometimes it's almost like we're brother and sister because we've known each other since we were kids. And yeah, but yeah, I'm married. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I aim to and if somebody saw a reading that I did, actually one time somebody did, and they were like, I want you to take, I want the reading down. And I just unlisted the video, took it down. I was trying to be very respectful there, but there were some things that were coming up that could lend itself to, it wasn't looking like foul play. It was looking like someone took their life. To that end, if my intuition picks up that either A, someone ran away, or B, someone took their own life, I try to pull away, except for the whistleblower one that I just did. Because that's kind of a mystery, with the Boeing whistleblower situation. But typically, I don't really like to do readings where I feel like someone has made a conscious choice, whether they decided to run away or to take their own life. And so I try to be respectful of that. And so um yeah, rambly answer. I, yeah, but I try to have some ethics about myself. Aw, thank you. It blends my love of true crime and cartomancy together. It's also a plus to learn from your interpretation and the way you say, I'm hearing, I'm feeling. Oh, thank you for saying that. Um, yeah, truth be told, like my love of true crime probably rivals, and it's been always a thing for me since I was a girl, probably too young to be in true crime anything, but I've been following true crime for a very long time, since I was a girl, reading books that I probably had no business reading, but whatever. My parents were like, "You want to read that? Fine." Um, Watching TV programs probably shouldn't have been watching. Oh my God, what was the one that used to come on HBO? Autopsy? Not was it Autopsy with Dr. Bodden? Anyways, yeah, I thought for sure I was going to be a criminologist. That's what I thought. Then that didn't quite pan out. But um, yeah, I like to, yeah, it's like it's mixing my two loves too. And that's why it works for me and why I still derive a lot of joy from it. And I also just, I make connections with some of these people that you think, oh, Kim's done with recording that video and she doesn't think about those people she did the readings on. Oh no, I still think about it, especially if they're still missing or if it's still up in the air as to what happened in their case. I'm still, checking on what ended up happening. Uh-oh. Hold on, you guys. I forgot I didn't plug my charger on the laptop. And I check on them. I pray on them. I meditate on them. I hope, I fear. I'm like very human in that way. And I'm like, especially if a child is involved, that's another thing. I try to be careful about just doing any children's cases. I'm very like intentional about that too, um, for a number of reasons. Um, but yeah, let's see. I want to have a Princess Leia as Queen of Swords t-shirt. Yes. I should make you should. But if you made it like on like where you could buy it on demand, like make it for sale for people to be able to buy, that would be great because she is the Queen of Swords. That for sure. I love like thinking about um people in pop culture or history and like what um court card archetype what they embody. Like Griselda, the cocaine, what do they call her? Godmother? Fairy Queen of Swords. I think I talked about that a few lives back. Very Queen of Swords energy. Her birthday was February 14th. And when you read, like, if you read her Wikipedia page, you'd be like, oh, yeah, that is some serious. She's like reverse Queen of Swords, though. She kind of brutal. But yeah, I like to think about, like, well, who would you be? I'm just realizing you're doing YouTube for 6 years. Yeah, I've been on this thing for a minute now. In August, it'll be 7 years, 6, 7, I don't know. Thank you, Crunch. Yes, I've been on here a while. Oh gosh, I have 4 children, 3 living, and Dante would be the Knight of Wands. Daniel, what would you be? I don't know. Ella would be the Hermit. Um, and Daniel, what would he be? Maybe the Knight of Cups. Yeah. And I guess if I had to say with Ella, my daughter, if it's like a court card, we would have her be the Page of Swords. Yeah. Are any of your family members into cards too? Yes. So my son, my oldest Dante, he is into cards. Really, out of all three, he's into cards the most. He's also an Aquarius like myself. Like his birthday is 5 days before mine, and he wanted to learn them. He actually he's a good reader. He still prefers that I do readings for him. Sometimes I'm like, you could pull a card on this, and he's like, I'd rather you do it. I'm like, okay. My middle child, Daniel, at first he's like, I don't know about that. But every now and then he likes me to pull a card, or he's amused. Same with my daughter. They're amused. The younger ones are like, okay. But my oldest one, he's probably most like me and very much into cartomancy, very much into it. I give him decks, he buys them, like he's into it. Actually, he got hired on to a hotline, but he ended up doing something else. He didn't take off with that. But yeah, he's a cartomancer. I used to watch Unsolved Mysteries. That's another one. Love me some Unsolved Mysteries. I also was like back in the day, like into 2020. What was the other one? Daylight's been around, but I don't know if it's been around as long as like 2020. But I love the original Unsolved Mysteries. Love, 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 love. Okay, I'm probably the only 8-year-old staying for 2020. Yeah, right. I would stay up. And, like, yeah, probably you and I are like the same age. And there would be like the shows, like the Friday night shows. Like I'm trying to think, like, I don't know, Family Matters, Full House, all of them. And then later in the night, like 10 o'clock or something, here comes 2020. That's the show I'm trying to watch right there. All up in the adults business. That's me. Always up in adults business, even as a little kid. Sometimes my mom would be like, she could tell I'm eavesdropping when there would be family members over, and she'd be like, uh-oh, so and so's listening. And yeah, oh, I'm listening and judging. Oh my. Yes, let's see, but the intro. Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah. And I liked also the horror, like remember Tales from the Dark Side? And that's not true stories, but that's like there was Tales from the Dark Side and the Twilight Zone. They would play old reruns, and I would watch those. And so there's just something about me that always kind of liked the darker side of things. That always was like, I'm not afraid. I'm gonna go there. So it makes sense that I'm doing MMM type of readings. Yes, see, we all flock together. We're all like birds of a feather flock together. Yeah, I feel validated too, because at first I was like, I am such an oddball. I'm such an oddball. So while we're doing that, and if you all have any questions, let me know. I wanted to share with you all the decks that I was loving on. And speaking of MMM, I'm going to show you the ones first. Hold on, let me check my spreadsheet if it'll let me. Okay. I have all my MMM ones up on the shelf ready because I have one more I'm going to do. And then I'm going to probably take a little, not a break, but I'm going to be recording some like cold cases. And so that way I have some readings to put up in the future. So there may be like a week or two, maybe. I usually can't stay away that long, but I'm thinking I'm going to take a week or two off so I can work on them. But one of the Oracle decks that I really, really like, and I know I use my own, the Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle. I have that deck and I love it dearly. But one that I also really appreciate is the Divine Crime Oracle by Divine Visions. It's little. Speaking of a miniature deck, right? It's little, but she pack a punch. I mean, Yeah, she packs a punch. What I like about this deck is it has months. So I'll say in a reading, I'll say something like January is of importance. It could be the perp's birthday month. It could be something that happened in a past January. It could be something that's going to happen in January related to the case, or something significant here is with January. She has time, hours. She has kilometers. You know what's ended up being so interesting to me about this deck is that this creator is, I think she's based in Australia, I believe. And so I actually have an affinity for doing Australian MMM readings. It could be this deck that kind of unlocks something for me with it. I don't know. But imagine that. I end up falling in love with like just maybe learning a bit more about when I do my research for those cases and then just learning a bit more about Australia. It's interesting to me. But she has kilometers, which I'm American, so I know miles. So then I always have to like convert post video, like, well, what does that translate to miles? So I'll just show you a few. But I want to say like, isn't it 150 cards? It's a lot of cards. It's a lot of cards. And so if you didn't want my Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle, this is a great all-rounder to get if you want to get into doing those types of readings, like the mysterious, like true crime readings, basically. Let's just call them that. And a lot of people like this size. It's more handy for them, like especially if you have small hands, right? And months. I think she has years. Misadventure and Lost. North, south, east, west, northwest, south. She has all the directions. We have night, dark, wandering alone. So I like to use decks that have a lot of cards, like Oracle decks. And yeah, so I used this one in a couple of recent MMM readings. And so I was like, I won't show you all of it. I don't think I did a full flip through though. If you all are interested in me doing a full flip through, or maybe I could even link the creator of this deck. Maybe she has a full flip through and I could put it in the description box. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll do that. I'll look and see if she has anything, because she found one of my videos yesterday. I guess one I might have was using this, and she left a comment on one of my videos, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't even realize maybe she had a channel or what. But now the light bulb went off, like, oh, she probably has her own flip through. That's just fine. I'll just see if she has one, and I can link it in my description box. So there's that. Look, Crimes of Passion. Let me see. Oh, that's quite the death card. Landfill, rubbish, dumpster, trash. So yeah. So that's that one. And then y'all probably have heard or seen me use this quite a bit. New Era Elements Tarot. So for the month of March, because I was really actively doing MMM readings, I typically will use this deck by Eleanor F. Piper, PhD, a US Games Systems Tarot deck. You don't have to just use it for MMM type of readings for sure. This one, I mean, it's a true crime deck. Yeah, it's kind of niche and specific. This is a tarot deck. Speaking of the star, we have the star. Here is Four of Air, and they have keywords. So it's a little thoth, you know, and it has the keywords. So Four of Air, and it says truce. My dog is barking. Okay, Four of Water, comfort. Remember, so it's New Era Elements, elemental deck, right? Come on. Damn dog. Love her, but her bark is like very loud. I don't know if you can hear her. Seven of Fire, bravery. For some reason, this deck really works well for me with these types of readings. This is a very tragic devil, but I'm gonna show it to you anyway because we grown. Most of us are who watch this video. If you have, if it's difficult for you to see certain images, you might want to look away. Um, Again, I don't necessarily shrink from things that are horrific because, yeah, not everything can be light, love and light. We're here having a human experience, and some things need to be talked about and called out, right? Let's see. 8 of water, 8 of cups. Here is traditionally the world or the universe, or yeah, they call it the universe in this deck. So that's the new era elements. And it comes with a cool little guidebook. You know how US Games is. So it has this little chunky little guidebook. It's a good deck. But I wanted to share it with you because I was doing a lot of MMM readings this month. And so clearly I was using this a lot. Next up, what else? What else? Let me look at my list. Y'all know I got a list. Okay. Next one is one. Where are you? I made one with the Earth Oracle. Now, the card backs that are available on Make Playing cards are different. This was my deck that I had made that I didn't think I was going to make available for people to purchase. So I just made this deck for my own self. So I didn't have a title card or whatever. But it's one with the Earth Oracle. And the reason I want to show you this one is because I had a client reading and 2 cards came up, and I loved how it came up, and I love how I read with it. So I intentionally put 2 swamp cards in this deck. Intentional. I wanted a swamp card where you are in the midst of the swamp, like you are low down in there, you're in it, you are in this emotional murky place. And then I wanted one where it was like a higher vantage point. Now you have a higher perspective over the swamp, right? And so both of these came up in a clearance reading, and I was like, it just made total sense to me. Like right now she's in the thick of it, but and then this card came up later in a like a future position card or future position in the spread or whatever. And I was like, look at that. You are going to be able, you're going to get through this, and you're going to have a higher perspective over and really see things for what they are and what it is. This highly emotional, murky, volatile situation. Yeah, you're in it, but that won't be forever. And so I just loved how the 2 swamp cards came up, and that was special to me. So when I make Oracle decks, I make things that make sense to me, like keywords, and find images that resonate. Here's peace and seawall. Hide. Lightning. Desert. Dry spell. So what was this card is interesting. I used this on my very first MMM reading for Cleo Smith, and this card came out. In that case, is out of Western Australia, and I chuckle now. I could chuckle now because she was found, right? Yay, she was found alive. Whew, she's back with her family. All that good stuff. Person who did it, he behind bars. But one of the viewers who saw me do the reading and they saw this card, they were like, oh my God, that looks just like an area where like nearby or whatever. And that's why that sparked something in me with MMM readings to get you all in the fold. What do you see in the images? What does that conjure up for you? What does the keyword say to you? I want to ignite the intuitive muscles inside of you, like light it up, and so it was that resonated with me, and that's why I do the readings the way I do them. Not everybody, though. That's what I was saying earlier. It's a lot of people, they're coming to it like they want to entertain folks, and people watch those videos because they want to be entertained, but it's something more that I'm trying to do. There's something more. Garden. Hidden beauty. Illumination. Fire. And then I have like a forest fire. So you got a little, you ignited it. This is a controlled fire. And then there's wildfire. So yeah, wanted to share that with you. I've been using this quite a bit. I use all of my decks that I've made personally a lot, some more than others, just depending on the type of readings I'm doing. But I've been heavily relying on that one. Let me check out. Okay, this next one y'all have seen me talk about before as well. I got a mess of decks here. It is the Intuitive Life Coaching Oracle. I've been using this for Poised to Leap. That's my membership for like readings for them. And I will also pull cards for myself from this deck. I just really, really like it. 77 cards, 208-page guidebook, and you can get it on Amazon or wherever, maybe a local bookstore. I don't know. But it's mass market in the sense that you can get it probably on Barnes and Nobles or Amazon. Or maybe, what's the other one? I forgot. I forgot that other one, the other big seller. But here's the guidebook. Love is so chunky. Good information. Big cards, though. I've talked about this deck on a few occasions. I have a flip through. The link is in the description box. But it is glossy, it is big, and not everyone feels that. So I'm just letting you know what it is. But I still really like them. I still really like this deck. And it's got visionary. You are learning to synthesize all of your creative ideas into action. Positive life changes. Reconciliation. The relationship, friendship, or partnership, this relationship, friendship, or partnership can't be saved. And sometimes reconciliation is about reconciling something within yourself, right? Void. You may be covering up the emptiness or pain within through an addiction. That's interesting. Wake up call. Obsession. Self-sabotage. So, whole soul. 77 cards, this one. Time to lighten up. If you want to see all of the cards, I did do a full flip through, just so you know. But for time's sake, we're going to keep it moving. But I've been using this quite a bit in readings this month. Sometimes I use it for client readings. Sometimes. It just depends on the type. If they're wanting like a life purpose or kind of a life coaching type of reading, I will use this. Let's see. Oh, I love you too. What car would your dog be? Ah, Osita. Queen of Wands. She'd be Queen of Wands. Oh, thank you, Crunch. Thank you. Yes, please like the video. Much appreciated. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. I think I just have a couple of more. Hold on, you all. Yeah, just a couple more, and I can talk about them at the same time. So in the Facebook group, Abundant Life Tarot group on Facebook, I posted a picture today using the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. I used this in a reading yesterday. The Dreams of Gaia is all worn. And then also the Messenger Oracle, both by Raven Phelan. Same creator, artist and creator. Oh my God. You know what's interesting to me with the Dreams of Gaia is like it is by Blue Angel. Is this one too? Yeah, both of them by Blue Angel Publishing. But some people either really love this deck or they hate it. or they are just like, I don't know what to do with it because it's its own system that she created. And so this would be one that I have been thinking about doing a tarot study. Some people would say it's not a tarot deck. I would say it is because, first of all, she describes it, the creator describes it as a tarot deck. So I will respect that. And not only that, she does have a system. She has this divine, gorgeous guidebook that's just so good. So good. I love this deck so much. I end up getting the pocket size or the smaller size, but I never use the pocket size. I thought I would. I still use this edition or this version of it. And I just love it. Let me show you. Like she has, she has the majors, she has minors, but she has extra minor cards, which could throw some people off. But yeah, she has like death, rebirth. She has the keywords, key phrases. Look at all this text. Meaning of the card. Then she goes into the present meaning, the future, the past, a potential blockage, which is like a reversal, I suppose, or a shadow. Like it just goes on for days. So if you're into like really great guidebooks, this is one to have. And it's just every time I do readings for myself, or particularly for myself, it's like a coming home. And I don't know, I can't explain it. I just cannot explain why this deck just works the way it does for me. Do you have those decks? You can't explain it. You probably didn't even think you were really into the art, but for some reason it just works. That would be it, because this is kind of more fantasy kind of art, which isn't really something I gravitate towards. But yeah. I really like it. I even love shuffling it. The gilding is starting to wear, but it's held up for many years. Here is masculine and feminine. Here's the Queen of Fire. Let's see what else. Eight of Earth. I'll show you some of these. Yeah, it's not normally the style that I would go for, I will say. Nor do I like larger decks, similar with the intuitive life coaching oracle. I don't really like larger decks that are 78, 70, like 70 plus cards, because they're kind of unyielding, kind of hard to handle. But let me tell you, I make it work with this one. This is one of the majors: healing, journey, the mother, here's Queen of Earth, the Sage. I did do a deck in focus of this deck, so it is in the link, or a link is in the description box. Oh, I love this one. She really did. I mean, just to think, she created her system. She wrote that amazing guidebook. She did the art. Like, this was no easy feat, I would imagine. But she did it. Raven did it. So yeah, and what made me think about this deck was somebody left a comment. I think that they had just got this deck or something like that, and I said, "Oh, that's right." And usually when I remember the deck, I'll say, "Let me go pull it off the shelf," or I'm going through something, and I'm like, I don't know exactly what even question to form. I just know I'm feeling a way, and I throw like 1 to 3 cards from this deck, and the messages just speak to me in such a way that I don't know. I don't know. Now, do I use it for client readings? Not typically, not typically. But I would be curious to know, for those who have used it in client readings, how did you get along with it? Does it work? Like, does it make sense? How do you work? How do you do what you do with it? I want to show you some other ones. Let me see. Oh, I love Death Rebirth. Look at that. The Crone. She has, you know, Mother, the Maiden. I think she has the Maiden. Trying to find. Oh, yes, she does have the Maiden. I'm trying to find my favorite. Oh, I love the Integrity card. There is nudity. Cover your eyes if you're not into nudity. Queen of Air. Two of Water. This is another major. Self. Abundance. That's another major arcana, like some emotion, intellect. So if you're curious about this deck, check out my deck in focus. The link is in the description box. To that end, I'm going to show you and then we'll wrap it up because I thought I was only going to be on here for 45 minutes. Best laid plans, right? Messenger Oracle. I always tend to use this deck clearly because it's created by the same creator with the Dreams of Gaia. But sometimes I just use them by themselves. I'll just pull a card from here and a card from the Dreams of Gaia. It's all glossy. You see that? It says, surrender to the flow. Look at that. So dark. I'm trying to get it where you can see the little ladybug. Embrace the feminine. Let's see. Show you care. Wash away your burdens. So very like fantasy-like. Like, look at this one. See yourself in nature. Not typically my go-to style, but that's not a bad thing. Sometimes you need to get out of your comfort zone with art. That's what's so cool about tarot and oracle decks is that I think why many of us are collectors is because we would love to probably have a gallery in our home of art, right? Like on the walls. But in this instance, we have these little bits of art in boxes or, you know, like in tiny, like tiny size. And we get to appreciate them. Oh, I love this. Look at that. Make the sacrifice. This is kind of dark. It's glossy too. Let's see. Observe in silence. So I use this deck typically with the Dreams of Gaia. Typically. So that's, and I'm pretty sure I put a link in the description box down below on, what did I do there? For the Messenger Oracle. Yes. Let's see. Hi, friend. Giovanna, another great channel, The Spiritual Love here. I'm going to be sharing some videos in the community tab, just so y'all know. So if you have been needing some new content to dig into, I do plan to be sharing them to make it a little easier for you so I could curate some content for you. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I love the Dreams of Gaia deck. It just, I don't know, speaks to me. Speaks to me. The Food Tarot, not designed as a real tarot deck. I read it like an oracle. I bought it as a joke and love it, right? So it's just, I love when that happens too. You're like, I'm trying to think of other decks that they ain't really what what your intentions were, or maybe it's not your style, or maybe you got it as a cheeky kind of deck, and then it ends up being something you really gravitate towards. I love when that happens. Absolutely. I got to check out the food tarot. Not the first person who's mentioned it to me. Some decks just hit different. Amen. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Let's see. The spiritual love here. If I use that deck for clients, I use it like an oracle and pull one card. I love how deep. Yes, literally, like one card packs so much information and so much wisdom. It is best to treat it almost like an oracle. That's why I do anywhere from 1 to 3 cards. Any more than that, it's too much on the table for me from the dreams of Gaia. Too much. I love this version. I've loved this version of the Messenger Oracle. Is that still available, or do I need to hunt for this version? Anyone know? I think Blue Angel made it where what without the borders, and maybe made it without the borders, and not maybe it's not glossy anymore. And I think you would probably have to buy it secondhand through like the Facebook marketplaces, I suppose, to find it. This is an older edition. Oh, I love this one. So yeah, this is one of those instances where I'm kind of glad I have the bordered glossy edition. Not all the time. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, they made a new borderless / matte finish deck. I must have it. I must have it. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you all for being here. I think there is a newer edition of the Messenger Oracle, so you have to look for the original version. That is correcto. So, you all, I hope you all had a great time with me today. I know I had a great time with you. And have a great weekend. It's Easter weekend, ain't it? If you celebrate, happy Easter, and enjoy. And thank you so much for watching, spending time with me, whether you are watching the replay or you here with me in the chat. Y'all are amazing. You asked a fantastic questions that thank you. And I'll see you all around. One quick thing, I was supposed to do a live with regards to one of the MMM cases, but life was lifing this week. I just have to say, it was just like life was life. So I will have to revisit that. But I hope for my Poised Elite members, I get to see you all and hang out with you a bit tomorrow during our reading lab. We're going to be diving into the water element, the cups. So take care, friends. Much love. Bye for now. Have a beautiful weekend, all of you.